Hey everybody, and how you doing? It is the 29th. I'm excited that Halloween's coming up. We will be doing some a game night play of something, potentially the new Horrified. I hope everybody's doing well. We have election day next week. Nikki and I have absentee ballots because we are often away on election day, but we have not filled them out. We need to do that ASAP. Hope everybody's doing great. I have been really just trying to get better. I am no longer, I'm still using crutches occasionally, but I don't have the boot on anymore. And I was walking around, I think exclusively yesterday without crutches, but I kind of regret, I feel like I'm at that point where I need to do it just to get over whatever kind of aches and pains I've got. And it's going okay, but it's just terribly slow. Maybe because I'm older, I don't know. But man, it has been a pain in the rear end. I definitely am eager to get to back being able to walk more. Excuse me. Being able to walk more, I definitely miss it. I'm mostly at home, although I traveled to Europe for 3 weeks. That was a challenge. And then we leave next week, Thursday, for BGG Con. We go the weekend before it starts, which will be great. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also not looking forward to potentially struggling to get around, but it is really not fun. So don't do anything stupid. That's my suggestion to you. Think before you leap, literally. Anyway, let me get to the down cam. I have been working on these guys, and I'm blocking part of it. These are, it says Warhammer Underworlds. I've been doing all of that stuff, if you type which game it is. But these are from no, these are not Kill Team. These are actually just Warhammer 40,000 figures. I do have a Kill Team of these type. I do not know why I bought it. I mean, I really was enjoying painting them, so I bought more. I don't know where it's at exactly. It's got to be up above. But that is the Escher Bike game. That's not it. I don't know where it's at, but I'm glad I bought them, but I really don't. I would like to have something else. These are, more than anything, I'm probably more of a Kill Team type player and a Warhammer Underworlds player because I like smaller groups of stuff, especially painting. I do enjoy painting these a lot. They are really quite cool. I'm getting close. I really have no idea what I'm going to do to base them. Wow, why did that get all out of focus? Did my head get in the way? I've been working on the leather and hey, Toronto Scope. I'm sorry I missed that. I don't know when that happened. But yeah, I've been working on them and they are pretty cool. Now I keep trying to paint from one part to the other, like all the way through them, and I still kind of mess it up. And I haven't done any kind of highlights on the leather or anything like that, which I will do. But they are pretty cool. I don't know what that is about there. I guess it's just my weird paint because it's like a little jog in the panel there. And my edge panel highlighting crap. It's okay. You don't need to do things like that. I am just that kind of person. I just recently finished this Warhammer Underworlds warband, and I really had a great time with this because it's really awesome, and I've just seen some amazing paint jobs. This one's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the way he turned out, and this one here is pretty fantastic here. And they're just great miniatures. As soon as I saw them, I'm like, oh my gosh, this was a year ago, or maybe not quite that long ago. I mean, they've been out for a while. I completely missed these when they were added to the Warhammer. I think it was part of, it's not Beastgrave, but the one that followed it, Wave. And I completely missed it. I kind of missed all this stuff. Once I realized I was not paying attention to it, I kind of did stop paying attention to it. even though I love the stuff. But I'm hoping, I mean, you can still get these minis. They're not impossible. My friend Sebastian got them. There was a box that included them. They had the little warband, I believe, and then they had a Warhammer Underworlds, like, maybe, I just feel like it would be one that I had, but I don't have it, I don't think. Let me take a peek. But I really, really liked them, and I had Sebastian get them for me. And then I painted them in Germany for the most part. I finished them off here, but they're mostly done there. I don't think that's it. That's got skeletons in it. There's like, they do some smaller boxes, you know, like not smaller boxes, but other boxes that I have Quest, I have a Warhammer Underworlds. I do not know what's in that set. Let me see if I can get it without killing myself. Normally I would be stupid and get up and climb up, but not today. I don't think this is it. I'm betting you this has Stormcast Eternals and skeletons, so of some sort, some undead. So probably not. But I would be hilarious if I did actually have them. But I didn't think I did, because I believe I opened that. I did open that box and look at it. But they're awesome. They're really great. They're some of the best miniatures I've ever seen. And they always do, every time I think that they are kind of falling behind, they put out another, you know, it's not that. I'm not paying attention. I think that they're falling behind, and I take a look, I'm like, oh my gosh, their minis are just really great. I mean, you know, they do repeat things occasionally and stuff like that, and that's fine. But wow, they're really great minis. Anyway, let's see what else I got. So I have all 10 of these. I wonder where the heck those other ones are at. I did find pieces. I was saying last week that I was missing some pieces. I found them, like I had not completely assembled. For example, this one here. Hey, it just fell right off. I realized after the fact that I kind of wanted to do the bases a little bit more, so I had like autumn leaves falling here and paint them different colors. Nothing really red though. There needs to be a red one in there. Anyway, so I didn't glue these down. And this second batch, I think, because I didn't do these in gangs. Now this one's not done. It's got some work to do. Is the other one done? Let's see here. Why can't I see that? Oh, there it is. It's mostly done. It's interesting that the color, I must have primed it differently. This one might have been primed with the, this looks like it was primed white, and this one was primed gray. The Corax, let me look at it, I have it. It's not Corax, is it? So I don't know if you can still, I mean, I thought that they got rid of one of them, and I know they didn't get rid of Wraithbone, but maybe they did get rid of Gray Seer. I can't, that was the primer that I had bought, and this was the touch-up that I bought. Because I knew, I'm like, all you have to do is just, you know, everybody's like, oh, it's hard to, it really depends on what you're doing, but you can blend mistakes away. Like you can put gray over it and then put the color back over it and work on a little bit, and it will be just fine. Wow, this label's coming up. It was never even on, it looks like. You can easily fix mistakes. It's not, it just depends on like how smooth the mini is. Sometimes the mini is a little too smooth to do a great job, but I did, let's see if I have one of the capes. This was one that I actually had made a mistake on, and I went in and blended it in. It was up in here, and it's okay. Doesn't look perfect, but it looks pretty good. And I mean, it's a cape and it's fabric, right? And this was literally just contrast paint over the primer. And these were zenithal highlighted. Now, it's hard to tell because a lot of it was metallics, and metallics don't really do that well for that. This one here was zenithal highlighted, and it looks pretty good. I mean, you know, this is the same color, not thinned out, but the intensity of the color reduced with the contrast medium. And it looks great. And I think I probably did a couple layers of on the darker color to just get it darker. But in the tree, you know, I think I used the wildwood, but then dry brushed over that, and then put another color of like maybe the Gorgrunta fir from Citadel, and it looks great. I think the tree looks really nice. The base is not. I didn't finish that really off. I wonder if I worked on these guys enough. I feel like I didn't really do the bases as I normally would, but they look okay. What I love about Warhammer Underworlds is they have fully modeled bases. Now, it's fun to do your own, but I just love these. And they're absolutely better than anything I can do. I am not, I mean, gosh, this one here, he's standing. Hey, David, how you doing? This one here is standing like on a broken statue, and it just looks great, just great. And I love all of that stuff. I love that they do that on these miniatures. I wish that they did them on all of the small faction stuff, because I don't think they do them on, I'm pretty certain they don't do them on Kill Team. I'm doing okay. My foot is still a challenge. We got to get ready for our trip, and I'm really hoping I don't need to bring all the... So this is the Pop-It palettes. This is what's great about them. The paint just pops off once it's dry. And with this stuff, it dries pretty quickly. Now this one's, I used almost all the paint, so it's not going to come off as easily. But that one just pops right off. But yeah, we don't want to have to bring all of the accoutrement. I got crutches and a little knee scooter. Hey, this piece, I swear to you, maybe it didn't come off. It probably stuck to my fingers. But it's pretty great. These palettes are wonderful for, I mean, it's not a palette. These fidget poppers are great to be able to clean your palette very quickly and not have to do water so often, but it is, you do need to clean them still every so often. But if I'm using the same color, I will often just, you know, get a paper towel wet. Let's see, I've got paper towels around here. Thought I had little pieces. I do. They've got to be here. So Sebastian like packed my minis for me. And tore up paper towels, which I got to tell you, I love German paper towels and toilet paper. I was joking that I wanted to bring a suitcase and just fill it with the toilet paper, not for, I mean, it's okay toilet paper for toilet paper, but it's great for minis, painting minis. I really love it. It's silly. I hope you're doing well, David. We are definitely getting ready for, it's finally, I mean, it's been cool here a couple of weeks, but since we got back, but it's also been warmer. And today it's in the 60s, which is amazing for us. So we are finally getting the fall kind of weather. We'll see how it goes with, let me see, I mean, it's weird. Like sometimes we have warm Halloweens. Oops, that's calendar. Come on. I'm clicking the temperature. There we go. Don't allow, I do not want notifications. Why is this Los Angeles? Wow. Interesting. Okay, there we go. Nope. So yeah, it's saying that Thursday will be 71. It'll be a little bit warmer. But Saturday, it's going to be raining and in the 50s, which is cool for us, for sure. I did use more of the paints of the, Halloween is supposed to be warm this year. Wow. 60 there too, huh? So yeah, I was using the wet palette again. I tried this red. It looks pretty good here, but like when I first put it on the palette, I watched a bunch of videos about how this is all the Army Painter new paint, and that's this paint here. And one of the criticisms was that they felt like there was white in the paint, and I have to agree. I talked with my friend who works with them, and he was saying he thought that the guy was like kind of a hatchet job, but I agree. It doesn't look as red. I don't have like a great red here. Well, wait, I must. Although, is it the right kind of red? Let's see. This might look kind of pink too. Although, here's the deal. Nikki says she likes cooler reds. I think I kind of like oranger reds. Let's just see what this looks like on the palette. Let's shake it up. I really like a lot of paints. I have 30-something Pro Acryl paints. And let's see what the other red is. We have an orange red from Rogue Hobbies. Wow, that is orange. But that's a cool color. Now, she was picking colors to be able to mix, I think. Well, she also wanted specific colors, but she also used those colors to make, like, each set of three to make 2 color wheels of just about every color. And she was specifically mixing to match some Games Workshop colors. And you know, you can tell so here, this is different. This is the way I would, maybe this is a cooler red, I don't know. But let me put a little bit of the other color on too. So this is the wet palette. Let's push those out of the way. I don't know if you can really see it, but this is more the color what I think of when I think of red. Now, that doesn't mean I'm right. I was painting these little rocket tips on this one, and I just was like, huh. So I got the one out. Let's get that shaken up. The neat thing is they do give you, I mean, it looks okay, I don't know. The neat thing is they do give you mixing balls, and so does Pro Acryl. This is something that Army Painter, I believe, introduced with their speed colors. They put 2 mixing balls in every bottle, which is fantastic. It helps keep the colors, quickly mix the colors, which is, you know, I have some paints that take a long time, like the sediment of the pigments is. So I don't know how great the color is on all this stuff. Come on, there we go. This is oranger to me. Well, orange isn't bad, I guess. But when I first put it on, I thought it looked kind of white, it had some white pigment in it. And that would be the trick to make it so that it coats better. That's the whole goal of these paints, is quicker coverage, which it does feel like it, I'll tell you. I've used the orange and the yellow. I don't know, I can't tell if you can tell. But this looks a little cooler. I think that may be what Nikki's talking about. Maybe a little tiny bit of blue in it, I don't know. But that's what I think of when I think of red. And what was that one called? I put it away already. Bold Pyrrole Red. That was one of the first colors I bought from, I bought a pink and the red, I think, from Pro Acryl Monument Hobbies. And wow, I don't know. So, you know, I mean, my friend who works with them, he was an art major as well. So I feel art majors get color pretty well. But again, I don't know if it really matters. It looks pretty good on here. Let's actually paint. I was doing these. Let's see if we paint. Wow, gosh darn it, that is not even a very good job. So the water is kind of evaporating from this tray. So I love the wet palettes. I mean, I don't normally need it because I'm using the contrast paints. Although I have used wet palettes with contrast paints, it's not a problem, and speed paints. I don't know how I got by without having one of these bottles, because they are great for filling these things up. Okay, let's see. My glasses are in lost here. So let's try this. I still am meaning to try the method to fix these brushes with a little bit of hot water, because it's starting to get a curl. I just want to see, because I actually a hook at the end. I actually don't mind a tiny bit of hook somewhat when I'm painting, but then, you know, like when I'm trying to do this, I kind of want it to be solid. Straight, I mean. It looks different. Now, it's not dry. That's one of the things here. We also should try this a little bit on the, let's paint it on something to see how it looks dry. What shall I paint it on? What should I paint on? I want it to be a solid surface. I mean, not solid, but solid color. I was going to paint on one of these, but I don't think it'll be very strongly. I must have some plastic. I have like tons of plastic board. Should have prepared for this. It only occurred to me. Do I have any bases? I have tons of bases. Where are they at? What did I do with the plastic card? I have tons of that stuff. It was right there, but I moved it, obviously. Trying to organize it here. I've got, oh, here, let's just paint a mini. So we're going to try just a little bit on each one of these. I mean, it really looks paler to me. Now, maybe it'll look better when it's dry. Now, these are not primed, which I am sad because I want to paint them primed. Let's see if you can, now I got this silly, palette here, which makes it so that you can't, it loses focus. Wow, the brush is getting tired, I think. It's splitting now. It really looks pink to me. I showed it to Nikki and she's like, oh, it's fine. Now, you know, she's also an art major. Illustration. But she did say she prefers a cooler, I don't know. Now, I don't know how good, I mean, I think both these paints are pretty great at coverage. But you can see there's a difference. Trying pretty quick still. I'm gonna let this dry for a minute. I don't so it was Stolly that I was watching his review, and I felt he actually gave a pretty good review of these colors. I will say, wow, the Army Painter seems to be drying quicker. Now, that could be that I have too much water in the paint. Let's move this out of the shot. I did not assemble these minis. They were ones I was bringing home to paint, and that has at least 5 years ago. I did not get them done. They were not ones I necessarily, I mean, I have this same set. So these are paint right out of the bottle. Wow, I will say, I don't know if that's a good thing. I mean, for me, a little bit of working time is fine with paints because things dry so quickly here. Now, these are not the same color, right? I mean, they're not even advertised, but this one is pure red. Yeah, pure red. And I'm seeing it on the camera. And it looks different. It looks oranger. It looks like it has some white pigment. I feel like that was a fair assessment. Now, the coverage is pretty amazing, right? I feel like it's doing a better job than the... Hey, notice that one's drying. So maybe I had too much water in my brush or something for that first go at this color, because it's drying pretty quickly as well. I mean, this is the way colors dry here. Hey, thanks for the follow, Tyrone Akani. But if you can see, I mean, they're actually both doing a pretty good job of covering with one. I mean, that has been the thing about the Monument Hobbies paints for a long time, but the colors are not the same. Now, again, they're not necessarily the same colors. Let's see what Pure Red has on it. Does it have another name? It does. Cool Reds. Well, don't you think Cool Red should be a slightly bluish color one? I don't know. See if it'll focus. But you can see, now they're not dry, but the dividing line is right there. This one, to me, looks pinker. It's not a bad red at all. And it is absolutely doing a better job of coverage, I'd say. Now, maybe I've done 3 coats on here. I don't know. We're going to let this dry for a minute. Wow, it's supposed to be 71. Oh, that's Halloween. That's the same temperatures as us, so it's crazy. It's the same in Philadelphia, not Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania as it is here. Not that Philadelphia isn't in Pennsylvania. Wow, you can tell I didn't assemble this. Yipes. Particular. I'm not even that great at doing it, but I definitely am particular about not wanting these kinds of things on the miniature. Now, they might have just slapped them together so it could be played. Because I believe this set, this is from the BG library, I believe this set was actually we got it at Spiel in 2018, maybe 2017. I don't remember. From Games Workshop. Man, I don't know if I've talked about it much, but I went to the at Spiel. I went to the Games Workshop booth to see the Golden Demon stuff, and holy cow. I mean, it inspires you. I just don't think I'm that patient of a painter. Just amazing. So, I mean, I've had, as I was saying, my friend Adam, he had submitted one. He did one for Nova Open, maybe, a competition mini, and I think he got something on that, which is awesome. But I will tell you, the jury of those awards in Essen had some work cut out for them, because ones that I was marveling at before they were, well, as they were doing the putting out what was commended and what was you know, the different levels of judgment on them before they did announce the Golden Demon. And the basest ones, you know, were just amazing. Just amazing. there's one of, I think I have a picture of it. I'll see if I can track it down. It's looking, you can see the difference, but again, not necessarily. Now this is the base red. This is like the red, the bold pyrrolled red from Pro Acryl, and then this is supposed to be pure red. Cool reds though, that's funny. It doesn't, cool red, I don't know. They're supposed to have like standard names, which is awesome. Thunderous blue, which is desaturated blue grays. I guess that's what this color triad set is. So they make these so that triads are 3 sets of colors, and that you would do dark, medium, and highlights. And so you can make 4 different sets of triads out of this, out of these paints, out of these 6 colors. So that these 3, then these 3, then these 3, then these 3. It's pretty great. If you don't want to be mixing shading, different shades, it's a great system. You know, the airbrush is the ones that were the first that they did that on, and it made sense for sure, for airbrushing particularly. And it will make it easier, you know, I mean, it definitely makes it easier to paint quickly. But yeah, look at, they're different. And this one here is more of what I think of when I think of red. I don't know that it actually has white in it. That was Stolly's feeling about what was going on. You could use the one for the highlights though. Let me clean the brush and do that. Gosh, this computer. I don't know what I'm doing wrong on these things lately, but this is a Mac and I can't scroll. I'm in the window and I'm going both directions. Maybe if I arrow it. No, it is not scrolling. Yeah, it will not go. Oh, you know what? That's why. Chat was open, which chat is open. Okay, need to have this visible. So it's weird. You have to have all these things visible. But yeah, if you start to use like the triad systems and stuff like that, you could actually do highlighting and stuff. I don't know that you'll notice it's not a strong enough difference between them. And you know, what I would do is probably some orange. I do like red and orange. Interesting. Anyway, little sidetrack there. They're great paints though. They are all great paints. That's what's really fantastic about the situation nowadays, that they are all very strong. There's a new set of P3 out there. Steam Forged, I think, bought them. I saw a video that Ninjon did about them, and I was never blown away by P3. Now I'm not the level of a lot of those folks. I have some P3 paints back in the day stuff here. You know, I mean, I'm always, this is coal black. Look how blue it is. I'm always buying like blacks and whites. I never really cared for this white. Now, you know, all the paints across the range aren't the same in any range. I don't know what they're doing. I think they actually had, with the Kickstarter, which I don't think it might be done now. It was close to being done. I did not want to buy any. I already have far too many paints. I don't think I have any mixing balls in here, and this just could be old. This is very old. But I was not happy with GW. Yeah, see, I mean, maybe that's what coal black is. It's kind of a bluish black. I feel like it's a little too thick. But anyway, supposedly their new ones are phenomenal. And all of the level of all the quality of all these things have improved massively. And so what I use to thin the paints in the bottle is distilled water and some of the airbrush thinner, just to thin it down a little bit. And that's just so that they're at a specific level in the bottle or whatever. But most of the time I don't have to. And actually, like, this paint looks pretty darn good, and I gotta tell you, it's at least 10 or 15 years old. I mean, you can see I didn't use it very much. I was not blown away by the color. Yeah, it's thick. Whew. Usually, well, you can recover this. Usually these paints, these paint bottles do a pretty great job. I mean, I decanted a couple of them, but I had some old bottles of GW that use these style of lids. I think they had hexagonal bottles though, if I could recall correctly. But they were still, yeah, like these were, this one here was a old Citadel dwarf bronze. Still great, still there. It's like, you know, and this was, I decanted this semi recently into these bottles, which I don't love. I would really, really love to get these bottles. Where did I put it? Right here. I keep talking about them, but man, I love these. They're so clear. You can absolutely see the color. So I have lots of mixing balls, and I just put them in, you know, I mean, on my own nowadays, because, and I bought them from the ones I have. Wow, this is so thick. But it's very blue-black. Do I need it for something? Let me see. Put some on the palette and find out. Because I'll never get it all off of that mixing stick. So these were actually, I bought these brushes from Royal and Langnickel, and they have, for whatever reason, I think these are in here to protect the bristles. These are just, they're not even handles, they're like, or maybe they are at some point, but they're basically handle plastic, and they put them in there to, I believe, protect the tips, the bristles. And I pull them out because they're great mixing sticks. Although the paint it does stick to it pretty quickly. But a little alcohol will clean it off. Although it doesn't really matter. Once it's dry, I think when you're mixing, it's not an issue. I wonder if I put mixing balls in this one. Probably. But yeah, I mean, old paints are not that terrible either. I mean, I'm saving this. I really wish I had more of this one. This is my favorite pink. Oh, no, that's not it. Do I have any more? Thought I did. Pretty sure I do. Did I put it in a bottle? That is this is one I bought trying to get one that was similar, but it's just magenta, which is a purple in Europe. I don't think I have it there, but I have a bottle of, oh, there it is. Yeah, so these are like, Warplock purple is my favorite purple. I don't know if there's much left in here. And then this is Mithril silver, which was, these were like early 2000s bottles of paint. Yeah, there's barely anything in either of these. But they were my favorite colors for sure. Like, not, you know, some of my favorite colors. And it's too bad that they change their colors so much. And I get it, you know, it's like if you're changing manufacturing, they just change the name of the color because they don't want people to hope that they're going to match the same. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's much paint in there. And I'm not sure how great these bottles are. They're okay. but the other bottles were breaking. Like this one, the lid was disintegrating, the plastic. And so I'm like, well, I better change that out. Because I'm not a fan of the, wow, look, I have a couple of them here. Leash Purple. And Elf Flesh. I liked Elf Flesh too. Those are all good ones. I even have a recent bottle that I decanted, the Retributor Armor. It's still in there. I don't know if it's the same anymore. I can't, I mean, they still have that color, but I felt like when I used another person's bottle of it, it did not match the other one. But of course, I didn't have the other one with me to be able to judge it. But, so yeah, all the modern paints, you can pretty much, as long as you're buying a hobby paint, you can pretty much guarantee they'll probably be pretty good. And you know, the old ones aren't terrible. I have a ton of, so these are Formula P3, right? This is made by, almost certainly made by HMG, is that what it was? Let's see, does this have it on there? Yeah, HMG. Coat d'Arms. Magic Metal is like, I believe, sort of like the Warplock Bronze or something. And these Nitro ones that were made in the UK are also done by HMG. I mean, they made a lot of paints, and they made paints for BGG, for GW, and then they went to a company in France, which I do not know who that was. I keep saying that, I would love to know who did those paints. Because if they, you know, still make paints, I will tell you it looks to me like this is the Army Painter, War Paints Fanatic, is doing a better coat. Now, again, it's not on a Prime Mini, but it looks a little bit better coated. What did I do with the black? I will figure it out later. But yeah, so they went to a company in France, and then they came back to HMG, and then the last I heard is they are now doing their paints in-house. So I don't know what that means for the quality. I feel their paints are fine. I did find the two that I was looking for the other day. These are my most recent Citadels, Wild Rider Red, which is sure orange to me, and then Avalanche Sunset. They're good paints. I just don't like the pots, to be honest with you. If you do buy, now, these paints aren't going to spill quickly. If you had these open and you knock them down, ooh, that needs to be mixed up, boy. I thought I'd used that recently. They don't spill that quickly. Oh, there's the black. I wonder what they would call I don't know, that was the issue. When you go to a paint store, and if they don't have a rack like GW does that shows all the colors, you don't know what black, or you know, what color you're getting in the range of colors that they have necessarily, because they may not have them all. And some of them have too many paints. I mean, the new Army Painter is 213 paints, I think. I mean, that's including some of their effects paints and stuff, which I don't necessarily count as, I mean, they're paints, but I don't count them as their main color range. And GW has a lot of colors too, but they don't seem to go too crazy. I mean, right now, they have, I don't remember how many colors they have, probably 60 something colors in their speed contrast paint range. Let's see if that mixed up. It did, and it's a good color. It's a base color. What was the other one? Is it a base as well? It's a layer. I don't worry too much about that stuff. I just go with what, you know, you're supposed to do the base color and then you do the layer colors on top of it. I don't really worry about that too much. I want to paint this other stuff, but I'm very eager to see how this compares color-wise. Nikki and I watched a couple documentaries this weekend. One called The Wrecking Crew, which was about these studio musicians in Southern California in the 50s and 60s, and probably into the 70s, that were like on all these bands' records, just so many. Beach Boys, Phil Spector. But it was pretty great. Then we watched another one called Muscle Shoals, about an area in Alabama that just had a lot of great musicians and a couple of fantastic studios, and they played on all kinds of albums. So that was I knew somebody had said, "Oh, you need to see the other one," which I knew about, but I hadn't seen it. So like the Rolling Stones recorded there, Paul Simon, and some bands were from there, like Greg Allman Brothers, and I don't know if Leonard Skinner's from, I think they're from Alabama. I mean, they have a song Sweet Home Alabama. And I guess in that song they mention the Swampers, which is one of the house bands from one of those studios. They actually started their own studio and did a bunch of amazing stuff. Paul Simon and the Rolling Stones stuff, that was all because they were, and Aretha Franklin and tons of people. They were they started their own thing. They started at one studio called Fame Recorders, and then went to do their own a couple years after. After a few years of working with the main guy from the Fame Studios, but it's great. It's neat. They're a little focusing on like telling you that story, and not about the individual artists. Did I paint that gun? I sure don't think I did. I did the bedroll or whatever that we've got going on here. That turned out pretty cool. I did one of these. I feel like I'm not getting... Okay, so this one I did do. I don't know if this is a grenade or what is on his belt here. I do have pictures of these. I think it's funny that I totally shied away from the white and went with the orange on these. It's interesting. I'm looking at the GW site, and they have one miniature that's got like a completely different color scheme in the set. But then when you look at the group pictures, it doesn't show that. Interesting. Maybe this is a different miniature. Maybe I put a different head in there. The mustache is very, very different on these. This guy looks like Wilford Brimley's. Okay, well, I have red. Let's do that. One of the things I wanted to paint red. I'm going to use the Army Painter. I'm such a nerd. They have Taco Bell has announced that they're going to do their decades menu, and one of the things they're going to offer is the green burrito, which was one that I loved about when I met Nikki. I don't know when they stopped selling that one, but I really loved it. That all starts on Thursday, so maybe we'll make a run for the border. So usually I work like this. I'm painting the inside of the mask first, then I'll paint the silver around it. I have a pretty steady hand, and I feel I will do a better job that way, so I'm going to want to paint some silver. I've been using the speed paint metallics recently, and they're pretty great. What is that supposed to be? That's orange. But they don't have a straight silver, in my opinion. This is the polished silver. Let's see how it looks. I mean, it looks like it's going to be bright. But once you mix it, it starts to get darker. Now, this is a different kind. See, look how dark it is. It's a different kind of paint. You know, it flows a little differently. But I really want like the mithril silver is what I'm looking for here. But I will use another silver. Like I have straight silver from the Vallejo acrylics, and their colors are great. I actually would like to buy all those. They're not cheap. How much was this when I bought it? $10. And I think there's like 8 or 10 colors, so. They did change things recently. My bottle's a little older, but I think Sebastian had several. So it's a nice color, but it really feels like a gunmetal, not a polished silver to me. Now maybe if you put it over white paint, it is a slightly different kind of effect. But, and it's okay. I'm not really that stressed about the colors. So, some folks, and rightly so, would paint this, the head separately. I mean, my issue is I don't feel like it's that important to worry about. I mean, it depends on what you're doing, the level of what you're painting. I am not competition painting. These are definitely tabletop level paint jobs. But I will tell you, it makes it a lot easier to do a good job and get it all covered. But for me, like, as long as I'm not, now usually, as I said earlier, I would paint inside first. So I would have painted the head first, and look how, so this is the Gilliman flesh, but with like the technical contrast medium, like did something weird and it's now shiny. I mean, I was worried that I'd used like a gloss varnish, but I know I didn't. I used the contrast medium. There is Lamian medium. I don't think I used that, so I need to definitely put some matte varnish on it, or satin, but probably a matte. Out of focus. The problem is looking at it through my glasses, it's out of focus. So I'm having a hard time like paying attention to it. In like 38,000 years, they didn't change the design of carabiners at all. He's got lots of highlighting needs to happen. Missing some color on there. Hey, Christian, how you doing? Thanks for watching the shows. I have to actually prepare this week's show today. I have something else I have to do too. Yesterday was not a good day. Too busy. Woof, too much paint. Don't even know if I shaked it well enough. Wow, I really did a terrible job here covering this. Hmm. So you can see, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but this is definitely not behaving like a traditional paint. It is doing some of the settling that a contrast paint does, which is intriguing. Wow, look at that. There's like a bubble of the paint in there, in the grip here. So when I painted it, the film, the bubble just dried in there. Very not common, that's for sure. That mustache is hilarious. They are dwarves, so essentially space dwarves. I need a little white, and it should be in front of me, and it is. Yeah, we need to. It's very strange. I can see like I did it like a fluorescent yellow, I think, in there. And I'm not even sure where I got that color from. I feel like I got it here, but I don't know which one it is. Wog. Doing orcs. That's more too. The other day I was putting the white on this paint on the pop palette, the bubble pop one, and you really can't. I mean, this is a traditional acrylic. You can use them on there, but they dry a little too quickly. That's the interesting thing, is that the flowy nature of the contrast and speed paints is it lasts longer in these palettes for me. But then I put standard paints and they dry really quickly. So that's looking. You know, they don't really, I mean, they're different, but it doesn't really matter. They both look great. Now that was 2 or 3 coats to get it to cover just gray. I can't even imagine. You know, it's supposed to be pretty quick on the primed stuff, you know, but it's still, those colors are, I'm not paying white, but white takes a long time too. I do have a white, right? Matte white. Okay, I wanted some white for that mustache to make him look older. Too much paint. I don't want to use that water because it is very red. So I usually have like a separate pot of clean water, but right now I'm just using my I have a rinse well, freshwater thingy that you have a bottle, inverted bottle on top of a bowl that you can clean your brushes in, and you can get water out of there too. Yipes, I'm making a mess here. Instance where you paint the face first. Now I have orange out, I can fix this pretty quickly. Let's try it upside down. Just want to get a few more strokes of white in there. Doesn't look like I'm getting it. There we go.
Appropriately Wallersy. What was this? What the story about Deborah and how did you guys become friends on GameNight?
Oh, so actually, if you watch our episode for Green Team Wins, episode 500, or roughly 500. We talk about it, but Deborah met Kevin, our friend Kevin, who is no longer living in this state, unfortunately, at WonderCon in 2019. And she recognized Kevin from, she was like, it took her a while to figure out what it was, but she recognized him from GameNight. And he said, oh, you should come on the show. And she's like, really? And so she, she had started watching our show literally 2 weeks before that. Because I know this because she said her first episode she watched was Victorian Masterminds, which we had released 2 weeks before that. And so she was watching the show and enjoying it, and then, wasn't calling because like Kevin worked for Geek and Sundry at the time, and she was doing a show at Geek and Sundry. That's why they were at WonderCon together. He was helping her and her husband get around, and after a month or so of watching a ton of episodes, her husband's like, just call them. So she called Kevin and said, were you serious about this? And he's like, of course. So the first time she came to the show to film with us, she initially, she was worried about her, she has a, wow, I do not know color range these are supposed to be. Anyway, because of her other contract with Geek and Sundry, she was worried about it, like being an issue, and I was like, well, we're really kind of amateur, but if it's an issue, just come on over, we'll play some games. And so she came over. She's like, she got approval as she was on her way over, but she was like very excited that we're like, yeah, just come, it's no big deal. And so, she was great. We really had a fun time. And she was eager to play more stuff, like see more games. She was kind of new to modern board games. She has been doing RPG stuff for a long time. And so it was great. She's really, really nice. And she just has been one of our more regular players over time. She's busy right now with a movie. I'm not certain what it is. But we are trying to organize it so that she can come to do the advent calendars this year, and then maybe something else. We have some episodes in the can with her, but she's really awesome. She's really into it all and having a great time. She went to 2 years ago? You think? Last year she was at Gen Con for another event that was that last year or just this year? No, this year she didn't go. So last year she was doing an RPG event over the, like several things over the course of Gen Con. And then the year before she just came for fun. We got her a room, her and her husband and their son, a room, and just let them just go have fun. And so we played some games with her, and it was really fun. And wow, this paint is not going on here well. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But she really liked Gen Con because it's more her speed, right? She's an RPGer. You know, Comic Con is her husband's interests. She generally goes for one day at Comic Con. She was there this year because they were doing a panel. Oh no, that was D23. She might have gone to Comic Con this year. I don't know. Wow, it is just not going on, or maybe it is, and it's just so dark. But yeah, they were announcing that there will be another season of that show, which is awesome. I know she's excited about that. I also saw that they have announced that it won't the series won't run until March of next year, the first season of Daredevil Born Again. But yeah, she loved Gen Con because it was a bunch of stuff that she's into dice, she's into RPGs, she's into board games. It was really fun. We're hoping to have her come to a BGG Con at some point. Can't be this year. Truthfully, well, her son is not at board gaming age yet, but she's going to work on it. And I'm hoping she's working on another RPG show. We were trying to help her with one at one point. Oh my gosh, I'm doing a terrible job here. I don't know what is going on, but it's not applying easily. Don't want water to be on there. Wow, I'm really not. Well, this is also, that does not have defined edges. Here, the edges are more defined on the front, and it's just the casting. She's awesome. Deborah is awesome. She's a really, really nice person. And she's eager to learn new stuff all the time. We have a new friend that we met last month, who is an actor as well. He is here in Los Angeles. He will be on this week's episode unless there's something wrong with it. Although Derek already edited, I just have to review the edit. But really nice guy. Was in the Kung Fu series on CW. for the last few years. I think it ended last year. But he's a great guy too. He's really into games. Like, man, Deborah's into games, but she was not really aware of the modern games too much, and really is appreciating them now. But Gavin is like a real game, like a serious gamer. When he came over, he actually already had, I am really doing a terrible job. He had a, one of the BGG camp shirts, Hawaiian shirts. It was great. I'm like, wow. And he's eager to come back, but Nikki and I were not feeling well. But now we're doing okay. We just didn't want to cough. We both got as we were calling it, a post-con Concorde, because we were hanging out with somebody after Spiel, and they had got, I don't think, she sounded sick, but we're not sure if she got us sick and her husband sick, because her husband got sick after that as well. I mean, you can't help it. These cons are just crazy. And shucks, that's not right. But he's awesome. I actually would like him to meet Deborah. He's also into RPGs. Really nice guy. But our friend Russ, for Chits and Giggles, he introduced us to him. He mentioned him last year. He's like, because he came out in September last year. He's like, would you want to meet him? We're like, sure. And really nice guy, and silly that we didn't try to get together before that, because he's awesome. Yeah, all the paint comes off on my finger. Wow, I think I need a new brush. Wow, let me just try one of the others. This one is tired, I think, and it's not a good point. Let's get one of the, I mean, it's specifically a detail brush. I don't use it very often. I didn't know I had 4 of these. Double aught. I really wish I had a 1 or a 2. I don't. Nope. Zeros and double aughts. Oh no, there's a 2. Okay, well, there we go. These are tiny. I'm not usually a fan of the, I like longer bristles, but I love Winsor Newton Series 7. Gosh, I didn't know I had a 2. Make sure I've got it. That is it. Let's see. It's been so long since I've used one of these. And you don't want to use it for covering everything. So I'm specifically going, boy, I love these handles. These are such nice brushes. Let's see if we got a good one, though. That's the other issue with these brushes, is that you sometimes don't yeah, see, this doesn't have a lot of belly. It's a great point, and you know, it's sable for sure. It's wow, this one just says finest sable, not Kolinsky. Maybe that's just the amount of label they got here. But that's weird. Usually they say Kolinsky, I think, on these. Let me look. Gads. I really wanted to get Deborah to paint. Yeah, see, this one says finest sable. I wanted to get Deborah to paint because I think she's very crafty too. Nope, they just say fine. Oh, it says Kolinsky on the tube. She's very crafty and does lots of cool stuff. Her and Nikki bond over their love of fiber arts and stuff. Okay, does it say Kolinsky? Sure does. So, let's see if I can do a better job. I sure hope so, because that brush was not doing me any favors. You do have to be careful with them. They're not like that fragile, but they are somewhat. Ugh, I don't want to spill this. Let me put this over here. Ah! Is this the one I'm working on? Yes, it is. Why did that flop off there? It's barely on. I guess I need to go to the next step. I'm not sure if the jaws on this one they're slightly different than the older ones, which I have many of the older ones. Well, not many, but quite a few. Yeah, it's great. That was the problem. Wow. It's such a weird experience going back to these. Well, I don't suggest buying. I mean, they're very expensive right now. Sable is really expensive. The situation with Ukraine and all that stuff, they don't get the Kolinsky sables, I guess, right now. Yeah, it doesn't have the belly, that is for sure. Too wet. Wow, that is lack of brush control there for sure. It's been a while since I painted with one of these brushes. I really wish I had bought some brushes. They had Artist Opus at Spiel and Gen Con. And I almost bought some stuff. I just was like, I don't want to buy $100 worth of brushes right now. But that's kind of what you have to spend. I mean, they're not cheap. They might be cheaper if you're in Europe. I've used Raphael and Da Vinci. They were not mine. Those are pretty nice. I've never used Rosemary and Company. But I believe I've heard that the Artist Opus brushes are made by them. Rosemary and Company. I would really like to get some of the Raphael and Da Vinci. I think Da Vinci are German. And maybe Raphael are French, I don't know. Now I was saying how the biggest issue is, I was saying if we got a good one, the biggest issue with brushes is you kind of need to see them. I was very sad when we lost the art supply store that we had in the area because they had a lot of brushes, a lot of great brushes. And so I would go there and look at them before I bought them. And I feel you need to do that. I don't know if it's just, me being particular. I got into Winsor Newton brushes actually in high school. I had an art teacher that was a very good painter and made the case that they were affordable and we were getting student prices and stuff like that. And all the way into college I used them. And I used them some with miniature painting. But they were always a little steep once I got out of getting the student prices. But I think these were from Dick Blick. A couple of years ago, actually. No, it was more than a couple of years ago, because these are definitely sable. And I'm not sure that you can get the same sable anymore, at least right now. Now, if you're new to painting, I mean, come on, I'm not doing that great of a job here, but if you're new to painting, I don't really suggest spending a lot of money on a brush. I do like these. The one I've been using here lately is the Saks one, the Zero. Now you can see, here's what I like. I like longer bristles. These are not quite as long. I do wish I had a 3 now. But I don't know. I mean, there are definitely differences to a lot. You can get different styles of brushes from all the manufacturers. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure you can get some from Winsor Newton that are that length. Desert yellow, ancient stone. I think I'm going to use the desert yellow. We're going to try that. I heard, now I don't know if it's still true, but at one point at least, I think Winsor Newton made the artificer brushes. I mean, not that they ever tell you, so it wouldn't, you don't know for sure that it's true. But they sold they made the artificer brushes for Games Workshop. I did hear about a new brush, synthetic, that's supposed to be amazing, not cheap, but I would check that out. Not that light, but it'll probably be light on the leather. Gosh, dropper bottles are so much better. Strong yellow brown. I'm sorry. I'm not reading the colors right. They're here. Let's see what that red says. Vivid red. These are the set that it's in. Well, that was silly. What was the orange? Just lava orange is just orange. And this demonic yellow is vivid yellow. Those are pretty good color names. They're very clear. Okay. Let's see about this color here. Probably need a little water. Ooh, that's too much. I honestly feel you should put a little dab of water, a little pool of water on your palette. I think that I've done it, and I think it lasts a pretty long time. So it stays in a little pool. So you can grab a little water. That's why I have the distilled water in a dripper bottle. This is the right color. So I'm doing a little bit of like wear on this leather gun holster. So there you go, that looks kind of cool. It looks sort of realistic. Maybe there's a little not enough. is buzzing. One of the phones. So he's got, I can't really see the belt on this. That's too wet. I mean, too strong, not scratchy enough. So, that one's kind of hidden away, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But that leather, the holster looks good. I mean, this is kind of how I like it. Ooh, I don't really have anything on the side here. And so if it gets a little too strong, you can just go back with a wash to bring it back down. I like it like that. I think it looks pretty good. I don't think that little pouch has much going on there. I thought it did, but I don't see it.
Is that speaker on? No. Or is it? Maybe it is. Wow.
Okay, let's see here. There's a lot of leather on this one here. So yeah, if you put a little pool of water, then you can obviously control how much moisture you're adding to your paint. And you know, it's definitely figuring it out, like the consistency that works best for you. So I'm just doing light scratches. Just to have like wear and tear. You don't have to go crazy, and you shouldn't. It becomes a little overbearing. And I'm kind of doing it, going a little crazy. It's a little too much. Don likes it so far, the scratchiness. So right now I'm using a Kolinsky sable, which they're definitely nice. I've had these for, I said a couple, I think they've been like 6 years. It might even be more than that, because I bought them for Nikki and me. Because, you know, she has much more experience with various brushes as she studied illustration. I painted lots. My mom has most of my paintings up from high school and college. Now he has a belt that's visible. If it looked like my belt. Now this is a little strong. I might go back and do a little wash to reduce it. Now this is just the color that I chose. Oof. And it might be too bright. I don't know. It's a yellow, which is okay. I really like the first holster. Let's back and look at that real quick. Well, part of it is that the leather color is darker on this one, so it's probably
You have to clean your brush a lot. You just got some detail brushes and you're making them want to use them. Yeah.
detail brushes are great, especially when you get some nice ones. I just wish that they were easier to find. We do still have a pretty decent, a really decent art supply store here in the area, sort of. It's on the eastern side of the valley. They've been there for years. I bought one of my first airbrush kits, not kits. My parents bought me my first airbrush, but my first, so I had a compressor. My parents bought me a compressor back when, I don't think they got it for me right away. Like, I think I used canned air for a while, which is okay. But they later got me a compressor. But then when I was having more artistic paintings, where I was doing much more detail work and stuff like that, the moisture from you could get in the line. Now, we don't have a ton of humidity here, but occasionally we do, and it would cause problems. So I ended up getting a CO2 tank, which is, just a big tube, like a diving tube. Aluminum, and that was I'd have to get it refilled, which was a pain in the butt, but not that big of a pain in the butt. You go to like one of those gas companies. I can't remember the company that, because CO2 is what they use for soda. So you can go to, I think Air Gas was one of the companies that I would go to. It wasn't terribly expensive, but better compressors came out and better water traps and things like that. So then I moved back to compressors. But we are so dry here, we have not had much trouble. So you can see I did a little bit of this kind of stuff on this cloak. Now I only did it kind of just scratchy, like the edge where it's touching the ground kind of a thing. I probably should have done a little bit more, but I wasn't going too crazy. And the brush was okay. It was one of Sebastian's. He definitely has better brushes than I do. But he also doesn't care for them. He is a fast painter, and I got to tell you, I wish I could develop that. I'm getting better, but like, he just doesn't worry about that stuff. Like, I cleaned his airbrush for him because he hadn't, and I cleaned it for him the previous time. I'm like, oh, here's how you do this. And he says, I just now leave it for you to do when you come, which he's just joking, but it really was, it needed, I couldn't even use it. Had to clean it out. And I didn't have any alcohol, so, which is one of the things to really help a really caked in airbrush. You know, you got too much stuff on it. Yeah, those are cool. So man, the water is really being sucked in on the palette. I really should put it on a handle. Watched a video yesterday about an arcade in Dallas that the 8-Bit Guy YouTube channel, you know, he's got millions of viewers. He and his brother and a guy that actually has an arcade already put a new one together in a little bit west of the airport. And it'll be great to go to when we on BGG Spring, but it's a little far. We're gonna maybe go just to see. I mean, it's like $20 to go in, but not only does it have like machines and pinball and stuff, he also has like Windows and DOS machines to play old games, which is exciting. You know, video games on your computer, so old ones. I'm hoping like I don't even remember how, I mean, it's been so long, I was pretty young, was Miner 2049er with my friend Chris. We would play it. I think he had an Atari. So he had it, I did not have that. I had an Atari later, not too much later, but later, and I didn't buy games, I was mostly using it to do schoolwork and stuff. But that was my first computer. Paperclip, that was the software, the word processing software that we used. I did not paint the leather. Oof. Oh, you watched that video? It was pretty cool though, but the funny thing was he's like, I don't understand why what this big tarp was up here for. I'm like, a leak? But I'm intrigued to see how it is. I really would like to go. It just opened last week, and I guess they were working on it for years. Trying to find a location. I don't watch 8-Bit Guy that much. I mean, I watch him, he's good, but I just don't, I'm not retro tech like that. Although I did watch a pretty great video where he was experimenting, trying to keep his house cool, maybe last year in like the worst heat wave in Texas. While his wife was away, he used batteries. So we have batteries on our house. He was using like these portable ones. So his studio, I believe it's his studio, is a separate building on the property, you know, like a little not a shed, but that kind of that size, maybe a little bigger than that. And he has the power set up on that to he can cut it off the grid and then use solar power on that. He has solar panels on top of the roof. Now here you go. This is one example where yes, use this, because man, I have spilled these things too many times. You know, like 3 or 4 times. It's too much. I only need a little bit of this paint. But it was pretty cool to see. This was before we had ours in. I think we were in the process of trying to get solar installed when I saw his videos. I think that's right. And but I've watched. He's got like a Commodore 64 thing that he's doing. My friend Sean went to do a thing in Texas with his through work, and so he went and met the guy, which is cool. I feel like they could be brothers, but I saw his brother on the video yesterday. Like that does not look like a Sean. But yeah, he neat stuff. I mean, it was pretty cool. I'd love to check it out. My problem is I go to this place, I want to be there all day. I did buy a Sony, because it was video. Well, did you see what was it called, Mavi? There was a screen capture system that was based on the Sony Mavica that used the floppies. My friend, I had access to a Mavica for a long time. My friend, who was basically like kind of that, he was the friend that I had at that time that was way into the new tech. And the Mavica was really neato. But I did give that back to him, so. Let's do this guy here. So yeah, you can put this stuff on and it can be a little bright, and then you just put a little like strong tone or one of the tones. I think I have, let's see. I have skin, soft tone, strong tone. I have 3 bottles of strong and dark tone. Wow, so I have like 3 of them. But I had 2 bottles already of strong tone. That's like one of my favorite washes. Wow, this is not even, there we go. It's starting to do something. I mean, you could dry brush this and probably get a pretty great result as well. I just kind of like the scratchiness. I don't know why. I've always liked it. Mike watches the 8-Bit Guy a lot too. Because he was wanting to go to the Time Rift arcade last week. He was saying, we need to go because of BG Con. And I did not know. I don't read any of the stuff, so I don't really keep up with everything he's working on. But then I found out why. I'm like, oh, okay. When I saw that video yesterday, I'm like, okay, that's why Mike wants to go. Those are terrible, terrible marks. Too strong. I think I'm using lots of paint, but a lot of it's going on my thumb. Kind of getting confused what I've got done here. So my friend Sean has, so the 8-bit guy has his Commodore 64 that he, board that he worked on. A lot of effort. My friend Sean is into the Mattel Aquarius, which I don't even really remember that one. But he's going to be doing a retro computer show in Orange County next year, so for that, promoting it, which will be exciting. I think I might go. It depends on the time of the month, though. I think it's in March, which is a challenge because we have many things that happen in March, particularly Texas Pinball Festival, which we will probably go to again this year. I'll do a couple more of these, then I better go. I got work to do, other work. Well, PDG work.
You don't have to go too crazy.
BGG is my side gig. Painting I wish I was painting Marvel figures full time. No, I don't. I'd be completely bored after a while. But I do love painting them, and I would really like to get done with them. I have many, many more to paint. I kind of had a kind of horrible realization that I better stop buying minis, or I will never get through them. And I have a lot of Marvel United to do, of my own, plus the ones I've been doing, and I'm going to be bringing Scott's home. But it's a lot easier to paint multiples of the same thing. I mean, it's not easier than painting one, but it's easier to get a bunch of them done at the same time. And I've been getting, you know, faster. Not Sebastian fast, but faster. Well, it sure didn't seem like it today. Off camera, not helpful. I mean, as you can see, I'm painting Marvel United. I need to paint them, but I wanted to paint something else. I have a bunch of GW stuff that they sent me recently, and I want to cover it. I just have these that I have not finished, so I was like, well, let me get on these. And they'll be done soon, or done enough. I don't know about the base, though. Not sure. Maybe I can finish these. So you see, you can move through, I mean, I'm just doing little details right now, but you can move through pretty quickly. You know, this is 10 minis. If I was really working on these and doing them, I could be done in a day or so, I imagine. Oops. Because it's not that hard. You know, the contrast paints and the speed paints do a really good job. You know, I am airbrushing, right? That is it's one element that not everybody can or might want to do. I always make the case that it's pretty great, but you can dry brush these and get really nice results. And I really love the zenithal highlighting that gives it the quality you know, the sun quality, so that you use these paints that are semi-transparent. A little strong. And the brightness, you know, the shading is really done for you most quickly. Now, these are dark, but I kind of like these guys being, I mean, I have a tendency to like overdo the dark aspect of a lot of these. But I'll pump them up a little bit. I mean, I have the Marvel United that I worked on. You know, she's very dark, but it's cool. I tried to brighten up the face. I did quite a bit of airbrushing. Now, I think I was using white to prime, white paint, not primer, to prime these. This was Vallejo's new white, their game color white, which is pretty darn great. I'm going to try to get some so that I can do try to do the highlighting that way. I usually use the white primer that I have, and for me it ends up taking a couple coats. Some people use white ink, acrylic ink. I have like a giant bottle of it. It's okay. Ugh, I just dug my brush into that. My problem is I don't love the finish. It's almost too smooth. But it is pretty nice. And it does a pretty good white. I should try it again. It does a pretty good white on the first go. One more and then I'll be done for today. I will probably not be painting again on I won't be painting on a stream until we return from BGG Con, so the third week of November. Is that right? But we stream this Thursday, game night. We will do some sort of horror themed kind of game. And we'll stream one more time next Tuesday before we leave. And then I'm I'm not sure what's happening at BGG Con, if there's any streams. Last year we were on the Our Family Plays Games live stream, which was really fun. They had a pretty good setup. Hopefully I'll be getting around. As I said yesterday, I walked around mostly without my crutches. I kind of hurt at the end of the day. So we'll see how I do. Today I'm using crutches, and I will back and forth on it and see. Wow, this one you're not going to see, so we'll do a little bit of highlighting on it. Oops, out of focus. Or out of range. Okay. That is it.
Break out your David S. pumpkins. I wish I had one. We have a card. I think we showed it on the stream 2 or 3 years ago when Annie sent us a card she made. They were blown away by David S. pumpkins. You should clean your brushes, particularly this kind of brush. When you're done, you should always clean when you're done. So are these, I do it on the palm of my hand. I don't, and I spin it. Then I'll rinse it one more time and then put a little bit more soap in it to condition the point. It's a nice brush. I wish I had more 2s. 2 and a 3 would be pretty awesome. And put it in the tube. I only have the, whoa! I only have the Pac-Man suit. I don't have any other suits. The David Pumpkins one I could probably find. No. These don't go in there very strong, so don't let it shoot down there. Okay. I guess I was cleaning that off camera, but yeah, you should always clean your brushes. And all of them, it all helps all of them to keep them in good shape. So yeah, we'll be back Thursday at 7:30 on Halloween. So some of you will not be around, but we will be playing something with Derek probably. And I hope everybody has a great one and a good week. Let's see if there's anybody we can raid on Twitch. Oh wait, wrong computer. I'm not really sure what is going on with this though. I never seem to find. It says following and I don't feel. Thanks, Sarchian, for following. We're just wrapping it up. Gosh, I don't understand where they are at. No. Although there may be not many people streaming right now. It is daytime. And Derek usually, well, I streamed last Thursday and I think we rated, I have Amanda coming up soon on I have to actually program, I mean, she's programmed in, but I want to put her information on our stream. But she'll be streaming a little bit later. Amanda Panda. She was on our Rock Hard video last week. I don't see anything. This is terrible. What is Leader Games doing? Art stream. That's awesome. I haven't seen Wapelius. Now, I'm probably just not streaming when he's streaming. But man, is he great. Well, let's go. They got 147 viewers, man, over there on that Leader Game stream. Let's go check it out. So anyway, say hello for anybody that wants to join on this. This is great. He's doing some cool art here. And you just click on through and say hello for me if you do go in, and have a great one. See everybody. Take care. Well, I say this, but it's going to take a minute for it to go. 7 seconds. Okay, there we go. And YouTube folks, thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for getting on there, Opal and Don. I will see you all later. Take care. Have a great week. Bye, everybody.